Okay, 450s here. Let's just start right off.
Nobody here can stop smiling.
1,092 days, 3 years.
Oh,
exactly
my.
3 year round-wise to the day. Kenny finally does it.
I cried. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I cried.
There were man tears shed.
There were man
really?
tears.
I mean, I had goosebumps. I was standing up
It was
clapping.
awesome in the stadium watching everybody stand up for the guy.
And for anybody that was pissed off about not seeing that last lap pass from Eli to Zacho because they were panning to Courtney and Kenny,
Go after yourself.
go F off.
Fuck off.
I don't really care.
Whoa.
Oh, I was trying to be nice.
I'm
You just-
aggressive about
let
this.
it
Yeah,
go.
okay.
I just go right into it.
So, before you get into your notes, one of the best moments
Kenny's
ever.
the top.
One of the best moments ever.
Pretty high.
One of the coolest moments in Supercross, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty high.
And I saw Ken's like caption on Instagram today. It was pretty cool where he was like, I've been waiting to raise this arm that high for a long time, and it was the arm that he fucked up.
You talking about it like this because you can't go like that.
No, you had it pretty
Oh, it
straight.
did?
It
Oh.
looked pretty straight.
Yeah.
I mean, after a 20-minute moto,
But
that
it definitely can't go like
stretched
that.
out
That's
pretty
for
good.
sure.
I don't know. We'll have to look at it.
Yeah. Anyway, great race, great win. He looked awesome all day. I heard last week his setup was stiffer than Mookie runs. So
I did hear that in an interview.
the bike setup might have been actually an
He was
issue
running,
last week.
running Brayton's fork setup.
That's not good.
Yeah. Well, they said that he figured it out on Friday last week during press day that it was too stiff, and they wanted to change it, and he said, "No, I don't want to change it because I don't want to ride something I haven't rode already." So now they've, I guess, kind of got it figured out.
Yep. And it was really interesting too that they used press day to their advantage. They talked about it on the broadcast a little bit, but they made the changes and then went into press day this week and you rode it and it was good. I've also heard of guys using opening ceremonies to their advantage even too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they
Because
have
track's
that-
fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh and they have that hot lap in the opening ceremonies, tinkering a little bit, doing stuff like that. I think that little stuff's kind of cool.
I think the biggest thing is a lot of guys now with being the actual 20-minute plus one mains. I think a lot of guys they get too far in their head, and some of them focus too much on setting their bike up through the
It
night
needs to
show.
be softer to get through the
Yeah,
starter bumps.
they're not thinking further ahead. Like, hey, like I don't really care. Like I just and Baggett made a comment about this on the practice show. Everybody was asking, well, why are your lap times in qualifying? You know, your heat race, and he goes, I don't really care about that stuff. I don't get paid to put fast laps in practice. It's all about what I do in the main.
Right.
You know, now maybe Baggett's not the best guy to be doing that because he's so up and down, but it's true though. Like, so who cares? Like, oh, you get 7th in the heat race. We've seen guys with terrible starts or guys with shit gate picks like get starts, the great, everything's even. So some of these guys,
And it's like the guys in practice, like Webb and stuff like that are running the low.
Oh,
lines
he's-
and turning
yeah.
down and stuff. Like they're ready for the race. And like that quad over, I don't know who they were talking to, maybe Brayton or something like that. But he's like, yeah, I never even did it because I knew I wouldn't be able to do it in the main.
The only
and if
two
I
guys-
had to switch my lineup mid main, it might mess with me a little bit. So
And he said the only two doing it in the main were Kenny and Barsha.
Ken was so smooth.
And
Well-
that was a separator.
are we all in agreement that that track though, with literally no transition to breathe and just like with how the bike would load up in between transitions and the faces, that fit Ken perfectly? Because he's one of the guys, like he's so smooth where, and I talked about it a little bit with the 250 guys, like, hey, I put in a heater and then they're not comfortable doing it again, so they'll back it down, whereas Ken like uses almost no energy on the bike. So he can just consistently do it, and we saw it in the main when he just gapped a little bit. We all thought kind of Eli maybe was going to win that main. AC looked good. What was Barsha going to do? What was Webb going to do? But I didn't think about that whole entire time. I was like, there was not one point where I was like, oh, Kenny's going to win the main. That track fit him because he's so effortless on the bike.
Tons of traction.
Yeah, he's just, and you even saw it in the ruts, like talking about Webb staying low, Kenny just dropping in, not touching the brakes, just letting the rut carry him through. And it makes sense why he had such a big gap at the end of the main, because you're talking about a guy that doesn't really get winded.
Crushing.
He crushed it.
Crushed.
He crushed it, dude.
Yeah, overall, like start to finish, like first big one after the injury, like
Got the first one, got it out of the way.
got out of the way, and I don't know who tweeted it. Maybe Anton or somebody like that tweeted it, but it really set with me. He was like, when Roxon could be the most emotional possible, he still looked hungry.
Oh yeah.
That's only 5 points.
He wants more.
5 points.
Well, fun fact. You guys
Like he didn't cry or do anything like that.
Oh, no.
Really.
He was holding,
Like,
I could tell though, he was holding it back.
He wants more.
I think when he saw
yeah.
Courtney though, that was the closest he was going to be when he was on the podium and stuff. And I don't
Saw her running
and he
out
saw
there.
her and she was like crying. I think that if there was going to be any moment that he was going to cry,
Because of her.
Because his eye got a little bit swelled up, and then he composed himself, and he's like, all
I
right,
really studied that little split second of TV time.
I
pretty
did.
hard
I did,
there,
dude.
did you?
I did.
You'd
Fuck
like
off.
pause it with the lotion bottle or what?
Do you study Courtney?
Nah,
I would.
Courtney doesn't.
Anyway,
She's like a nice lady, though.
fun fact: there's only 22 points separating the top 10 right now.
How
So
far down is what's his nuts?
Dr. E. No, I don't know.
None of us here call him that. That's Matt.
Yeah, first off, none of us call him that. Second off, I don't know. I didn't
Douchiest
write
thing
that
ever.
down. I just noticed when they put totals up.
Well,
that
what were
22.
your notes? We're pretty much what we just covered.
As far for Kenny, I mean, he passed the moving chicane in the heat race pretty good and took off there. Vince
The moving
Freeze.
chicane.
Vince Freeze is
Oh,
the
that's
moving
good.
chicane.
Oh, there's another
Somebody
guy.
said that. I can't take credit for it, but I was good. I like that.
I like to
Keeping
call
it.
him like freeze tag. Like you
There's another guy. There's another couple guys that are starting to become the moving chicane.
I
I'm gonna dub
literally had it in my notes in that heat race. I like wrote it huge. I was like, freeze, move, like.
Who's the moving chicane?
Oh, there's a couple.
How awesome can we just go back to that first heat race though for a second? How awesome was that first heat race when Freeze bunched up Mookie, Tomac, who else was
Dude,
there?
five
Brad-
dudes in the total
Dude,
at the same time.
And fucking, how about heat race Mookie showing up there in the whoops?
In the whoops.
I was like, yo,
Making Eli look
watch
dumb.
this guy
Yeah,
make
making
it
Eli
look
look
stupid. Oh,
stupid.
dude,
Yeah,
so
look at
fast. So fast in the
Dude,
woods.
I'm honestly not surprised. I actually am surprised the fact that he didn't like instead of skipping across, he skipped across like 3 whoops with as small as those things were. And then we had another like Glendale moment where he just dropped in and just fucking
Well,
carved
his
it
chain
open.
didn't fall off this
No,
time.
thank you.
They
Let's
fixed that
get
problem.
into Mookie. Let's hammer out the next 2 guys on that list. And
Okay.
that's
So
battle.
AC, what did you think? Well, I'll start with you because you have the most negative thoughts about it. What did you think of this AC ride?
Your boy got a reality check in the 450 class with your other boy that the big boys don't play well with. Hey, I'm going to run it in deep because he got a reality check, and then after that happened, he looked like, oh, I'm scared. Oh, God, I don't want to do anything.
Are you talking about Osborne? And
Wow.
Yes.
Can you do that?
I'm glad
I'm
that-
scared.
I'm glad they put that on TV because I saw it in person and was like, I hope the cameras caught that.
And I think it's amazing that of all people, it was Zacho, because like talking about one of the tallest guys in the class to one of the smaller guys in the class.
And guys that have history.
And the fact, yeah, exactly. I had completely forgotten about that. The fact of how hard he launched the landing of that double. I was like, dude, is he going to land on the top of the bowl? He just launched it, and he's like, nope, we're going wide, and we're not going to turn. AC got a reality check, and I guarantee you see a little
That
bit.
happen again?
Yeah, that's not going to happen again. I don't think he rides like the way he did in the 250 class ever again this season.
He made an aggressive pass, but on AC's side, he had to go.
Oh, he did. No,
He
I'm
had
not.
to go.
I'm not. I have nothing against the way he was riding. That's what worked for him at the end of his 250 career. It's what you got to do in the 450 class. But the difference is you got to realize that if you're at the top of a corner and that guy was within a bike length, you got to know like you're going to either turn down early or you're getting taken
But
up in the berm.
I do want to point out though, Roxon made the same pass, and he didn't go after Roxon.
Well, Zacho respects Roxon more.
Okay.
Let's be real. Like I'm not saying he doesn't respect AC, but let's also.
And it probably had to piss him off a little bit that he got the exact same pass put on him in the same spot.
Let's also think that if that would have been the other Husky guy, not Dean Wilson, Jason Anderson, I don't think AC is sitting in the tough blocks. Like he's picking himself up off the ground.
Yeah.
Here's what
I saw Anderson go after Davalos.
Yeah, dude, Marty's got to calm
He
It's-
down.
wadded it up like
It's
4
nothing new for Marty to be on the ground.
He's
this
got to
year.
calm. Yeah,
Party Marty needs to stop.
Funny thing
talking.
is he'll have a good race next weekend, and then he'll kill himself the week after, and then kill himself again, and then have a good race.
I just like watching Party Marty's mechanic change out the clutch, put it in, took it back out, and then was looking at it all again, set it on a rag. One plate was half off the rag in the dirt, and then like,
I would put it in.
Right back in the bike. Anyway, so my thoughts on the whole situation. Number one, you want to talk about an internal struggle. Have two of your boys start going at it, and you're like, fuck. Number two, AC, that movie did on Zach, no problem with it.
I don't either, yeah.
450,
No,
solid racing.
had to go.
However, and yes, you're right, had to go. Don't leave the fucking door open in
But
the
I
next
mean,
fucking bowl corner, you idiot.
You don't do that in the 450 class.
No.
250 class you can get away with it because
if
you
he
get
would have
guys
went
shut.
any tighter though, Osborne would have
No.
butted him with his front wheel.
He had plenty of room. He should have just rolled over that landing right inside that corner and fucking gone down.
He's actually got lucky that it was in the right-handed 180 and not the 90 before the first double.
Yeah.
Because if that would have been in, Zacho would have just kept
Clean
tracking
the
out,
front,
and
yeah.
he did just cleaned them out. And
Yeah.
that AC never would even like set up for the face.
Yeah, and like I said, when AC did that to him, I was like, okay, no problem, but you're in
So
trouble
is that
now
for
'cause
me,
Zach-
for you, is that the reality check moment for him? Because for me it is.
I don't think it's so much a reality.
Not like
check.
speed wise and where he fits in, the fact
Yeah.
of the way you have to race. in
Yes,
order to
yes,
finish.
I'll agree with that.
I think
because,
that opened his eyes a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think too it was a little bit of almost a defeat moment for him. He put in all that work on the start, got past those guys, got to Zach, got stuck for a second, got by Zach, and was like, okay, sweet, now I can start going. And then of course, next corner, Zach comes right back, and then he's sitting there going, fuck, now I got past all these guys again. So
Are we all in
They talked
agreement?
about it, and Zacho went, he's going to burn me, I'm going to burn him back.
did he just tuck the front wheel though at the end of the race, AC? Is that what
Yeah,
happened?
I
I
didn't-
didn't looking twitchy.
I didn't see it.
I would say in practice he went out of the rut was what happened on the top
Dude,
of the berm.
he also skipped across in the whip section up under the berm and like had another Fortner Cooper moment where he just faded up too high in the berm and then went down. I thought he like went over the berm.
He, yeah, and then what like Osborne said though, I don't know, as long as Osborne gets passed clean, nothing's coming back. Because Osborne was like, he passed me clean, and then there was nothing to it after that.
I think Zacho's been.
I think
we'll save this for when.
I think AC needs to make passes like he did last week, where he just was literally faster and goes around them because I think that works better, obviously, and
I
he's got
think
that
he's faster
speed.
than Zacho though.
Oh yeah,
But I also think though that AC like he obviously wasn't faster than Kenny. I think Barsha was
Nope.
faster than him, and I think Anderson, if he wouldn't have went down to the heat race when he was catching them, I think Anderson. I don't know if he would have had time to pass AC, but I think Anderson, like those three guys were better than him, and then like we kind of seen where AC's race speed is. Like I have a feeling though that this whole fastest in non-time practice, fastest in both time practice for AC, this is going to keep going, like because he's just willing to put it out on the line. But I think it's going to
Is
apply
he still
to.
getting like bonuses or whatever for.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think he's gonna
Maybe
have
a PC, but I don't.
But it's
think
going to
so.
bite him here soon, though. It's
Yeah.
going to bite him here soon, trying to go fast. It's going to be like a Fortner thing. It's going to bite him eventually.
Yeah.
Um.
I don't know. He hasn't hit the deck yet. He's just fast.
Well, no, he did hit the
When,
ground.
Wow.
when Roxon's battling for the top spot in practice, you boys watch out.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he doesn't ever play musical.
I think though we did kind of see
Musical
where
heaters,
this
I
is
guess.
where AC is at.
He's a top 5 dude, right?
He is a top 5 guy.
Okay.
He is a top 5 guy. But this is kind of where he is speed-wise in the
Yeah,
races.
And it's not going to shock anybody if he wins a race, right?
I still am on board. He
I
is
don't know
on
if
the race.
I don't think he's got Barsha.
I think
in
that's
here now.
I think that second is kind of his ceiling right now. I could see where you could see that, like because of his speed. But once again, like this what just happened is going to happen more times this year, and we're going to see how he's going to deal with it. He dealt with it fine then,
Yeah.
he backed it down. He knew he wasn't catching Anderson. He calmed down. But at some point, you talk about the internal struggle thing with your. He's going to have an internal moment go, like this is pissing me off now that I can't catch someone.
Yeah.
Because he's never had to deal with that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so let's move on. Barsha, that was a quiet night that we really didn't see, but it was impressive.
It was quiet but loud.
Was this
If
your-
that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Well,
does.
yeah,
It's
it
kind of like having the speed, but not the mental side.
1-2 on the season so far.
Is
Also-
this for real?
Watching him I think it's for real. I'm stamping he's for real this year.
Not yet.
Stamping it right on that.
This is who he is.
This is who he is. This is who he's supposed to be.
I was.
It's who he's supposed to be. Yes, I'll agree with that.
And like looking at him in the heat race, even he came from a ways back in the heat race. We
Mhm.
talk about Tomac getting a start and not being able to make his way forward. Barsha didn't get a good start, made his way forward in an 8-minute race.
And he honestly, like, he's still aggressive
It
with
did
guys.
look out of control.
Well, that's my point. He's still aggressive with guys, showing a wheel, but he's not like slamming people anymore. Like I think it took a long time, but maybe this is just finally like Barsha's getting it. My career is winding down. This is my time to win a title, and I think that it's going to be an issue with Kenny, with him finally getting a win and only 5 points down. But I think Barsha's going to be he's going to be there the rest of the year, and his speed.
And also in the main too, I want to point out, being there, he was trying to catch Kenny, realized he wasn't backing down.
And he was sick, apparently. No, nobody knew that. Apparently, he was
Barsha?
sick. Yeah.
Everybody's sick.
You want to know who else I didn't know was sick?
Cooper Webb.
Cooper Webb.
Where is he on? Is he the next
Chest
on the list?
infection. Nah, he's not on my
All right, so
next.
back to Barsha. Overall, not a ton to say about his ride. That he did what he had to do, and if he keeps doing that all season, he's
Which
going
is
to be.
I want to see one more ride out of him where he's in the top 5. If he's in the top 5 next week again, then I'm gonna go, okay, this is really real.
Well, it's weird too because you make the comment about being a quiet but loud ride. Even when Barsha's had moments where he just like is terrible, he still has moments where you're like, okay, like this is Barsha's speed.
Yeah.
So the fact that he got second, didn't have a moment where you go, oh holy shit, like that's very telling to me.
Yeah. Now,
And again, too, like I pointed this out last week, my last point on Barsha.
that's okay.
Just the way he was turning that bike on.
God, that bike looks good.
So, after you shit all over Yamaha,
Who here on this likes Yamaha? Like, Yamaha's a good bike.
The
you said
250
shitty,
F.
and
It is
then- and then you just said it looked good.
What's Aaron Plessinger?
I may go to a
I said
250 F.
Barsha. That's different.
Anyway, after the tunnel, the corner before the whoops,
Yeah.
I don't know if they showed it on TV or not, but he was laying that thing in at the top, and then cutting all 3 of those ruts out and going down the right side of the whoops, setting him up for the next one.
The bike just looks good. What you know,
Like
when
he's turning it down, and it like
well, also too, I think the fact that they've detuned the motor for more of his over rev style. We talked about this a little bit in the group text. You know, the fact that chassis is just it's not as much energy going through that chassis with him revving the piss out of it. It's been a little bit softer. I think that it's helping with that kind of stuff. You know, because still even in the corners, like dude, he's clutching the shit out of it. So when that thing hooks and it wants to drift out, he's not dealing with that same shit anymore.
I don't think he clutches the shit out of it anymore.
That's what I
I
mean.
think
Like
it's all
before
just-
it was.
It's all just in the air.
Before it was. That's what I mean. Like last year it was, and the year before that, like you could see that bike. It would either G out or
So
you
he
know.
says he hasn't changed his riding style, but I think it has.
Well, I think the thing is that bike is allowing him.
Let's
to-
not say change. He's developed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
it still has same tendencies, but yes, the bike now I think that is finally doing what he wants it to do. He's not doing that same stuff that he's always done his entire career.
Okay, so let's move on from Barsha here. Let's talk about Tomac. Now, from what I understand, like we didn't see Tomac a lot on the TV.
No.
Came back to 4th. Horrible start. I heard he was like 18th off the
I
start.
said the same thing.
But I heard that was quietly a very good ride, which I was kind of shocked because in the heat race in practice,
I don't think
I
so.
thought he looked really, really good. And I thought, here we go. Other than he couldn't get by the moving chicane there.
I
Vince
feel like
Freeze.
you're
Well,
gonna agree with me on that.
Zach Osborne was also Zach Osborne's been riding a little bit too much with Marvin Muscan because your boy was all over there. Like, what the hell?
No,
dude?
no, no. He was. I noticed
Stop being
that
a
too.
freaking roadblock, dude.
Oh yes, no, I'm with you on that. I'm watching him ride, going, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are we going side to side?
Yeah, like what are you doing,
This
man?
is not
Marv,
French
Zacho, Hill, Freeze, like, God.
I think Tomac has Dungey syndrome.
Elaborate.
Yeah,
Because no, that's not something you usually hear with Dungey.
So
Is he scared?
I
Didn't get
think when
hurt.
he's behind a guy, look at Anderson Outdoors. Look at what's happened this year.
Oh, he hits a wall.
He settles
Oh,
into
yeah.
their pace.
Yeah, I've kind of, me and Matt Wyman
And
have talked
Dungey
about
used
this.
to do that.
When he's so blazing fast, but when he get kind of like with Zacho riding a wide bike, like even though he knows he's faster, he just gets
sucked
lulled
in.
into that pace.
Right.
And he kind of did that in 2016 outdoors, like after Kenny whooping his ass. When you get a bad start, he'd go through and you're
And
just
he-
watching him and you're like, what are you doing?
And just like Dungey as well, I don't think he wants to start any confrontation.
no.
No, unless it's Marvin Muscan, and even then it doesn't.
No, like even the only he'll retaliate back. The only guy I've really seen him get pissed off was with Dino
Yeah.
for that tunnel. But Dino was riding like an idiot.
Webb in Daytona.
Well, yeah, but that was
Yeah,
also both.
Welcome to the 450 class, kid.
Yeah, and but that burnt him too.
Well,
we
yeah.
talked about that one.
Yeah,
after
and
it
see,
happened.
so he's afraid of going back in,
Yeah.
and it burns him too.
Mhm.
Like Villapoto, those guys. This is what I really loved about Villapoto. He saw a door, just a little open. He kicked that fucker open. Took
Well,
the lead.
Carmichael kind of used to do the same thing too.
Right.
Even though Carmichael was never this bad.
And Tomac just he just settles in too much behind the guys.
He's not winning inside.
And he's not. I can't. If he keeps doing what he just did this weekend and settling into a pace like that, and not being aggressive, he can't do it.
And let's also once again, like AC doesn't go down, Eli doesn't get fourth either.
No. That's
So,
the thing.
like
he
he's
still got, how was the pass on Osborne? Was it-
I know, but we didn't see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like nobody saw it. That's why people were getting pissed about like focusing on Kenny and Courtney, and then they missed it, and you're like, oh, did
I
Eli
don't
get
know if
him?
it was aggressive or not.
I'm going to imagine that it probably wasn't, because even though Zacho was going side to side, you could tell that Eli, there were spots that he was setting him up for. Yeah, like I keep seeing this, oh, it's the Dungey thing. He's trying to make it through. He's had, he's realized after the last 3 years. But you also made the comment earlier about going from 9 wins to 8 wins, and then it dropped to 6 last year. For
Yeah.
most people, they'd be like, oh, that I want 6 wins. But we also
The thing is I've heard the point multiple times through Pulp and Main Event. He had that next level speed for a couple of years, and no one was on that level.
especially in 17. 17 it was
And
very
now
apparent.
it's like the level has risen, but his speed hasn't with it. It's still fast, but everyone else is just as fast.
So-
Carmichael always,
so here-
he always raised the bar.
So
Yeah.
hear me out. This is kind of my theory on this, and this is the last thing I'll say about Eli. You know, we've seen him win back-to-back, championships outdoors and this and that, back-to-back-to-back. And with Supercross, we know that it's different because he's going to have those Eli moments, like where he just either gets a shit start or once again, like gets sucked into a guy's pace. I think that, because I don't think it's going to happen if he doesn't get it done this year, Eli may be the first person in history that had to get a win within the first 3 rounds. Now maybe he wins next week to win a title. Because we know he's going to have those moments, and we know that his starts aren't great, they're very up and down, but Eli, I still believe that mentally, he's not the strongest guy out there.
Nope.
No.
You know, even though going through the double shoulder surgery, which that was a big deal, but people keep telling me, oh, like Dungy, like he's working through and then he's going to turn it on. But we realize that formula doesn't work. Like Eli doesn't start getting wins until the mid half of the season. By then it's gone. And now you're talking about guys with Barsha and Kenny, like they build on confidence.
Yeah, and especially with you got another guy that they're giving all the attention to under the center.
Yeah.
That's got to eat at him too.
Well, and Eli's bad races, let's also be clear. Dungy's bad races, he was still in the box. Eli's
Yeah.
bad races could vary from 4th to 12th.
Yeah.
So I guess my biggest point is, and he has to win next week. Like I said, he had to win in St. Louis. I don't think he's gonna win a title. If he doesn't win next week, for me it goes to 0% chance.
Yep.
He's not going to win a
I
championship.
need one more round to see what he's.
And people are gonna burn me on this because they know I don't like Eli. But let's just look at
It's only round 2.
Let's just look at the facts, though, guys. Like, his formula, I'm going to win a bunch of races. He won 9 races in 2017 and still didn't win the title. If you can't win, if you're going to win that many races and still not win a title, it's not going to happen. And like I said, 9, 8, 6. I said 4, I think, if I remember correctly on the preview show. That's looking more, because when have we seen Eli speed in a race through these first 2 rounds yet?
Yep.
Not even in a heat race.
Okay, so last year everybody talked about the broken back, like whatever. He said it wasn't an issue.
It's supposed to be his health.
We still seen up until that first win in the mud, Eli speed, because it was at the Triple
Just
Crown.
had to point out.
Remember? Yeah,
I know, I agree. Keep going.
But the Triple Crown, like when he won that race, what did he win by? What was it, like 8 seconds over Cooper, or whatever?
Yeah.
I have not seen Eli speed yet
Nope.
for these first 2 rounds, so if he doesn't win next week, it goes to 0% chance for me. I don't care how many wins he
I
gets
got to
this
see
year,
one more round from
Yeah.
him too.
but he's looked bad as
Yeah.
far as Eli.
He didn't
Yeah.
look loose or anything.
No,
so.
which is weird for St. Louis.
Okay, so that's pretty much all I had for like major points here.
Can we talk about Coop though for a little bit? Just the chest
You got
infection.
Coop on there?
I have that. Yes, Webb is
The
still
fuck
sick
are you doing?
with a chest with a
Oh,
chest
whoa!
infection.
Oh!
No,
Which did anybody else see the qualifying times and think, oh, we're just gonna
No.
repeat next week
No, well,
or last week? 'Cause
Oh,
that's what I
yeah,
thought.
yeah,
was
yeah,
we were
yeah,
just
yeah,
doing
yeah,
last
yeah.
week.
but we
again,
didn't
like,
know that
he
he had
doesn't
chest
give a shit.
infection.
Yeah.
So
I
he
mean,
either has pneumonia or bronchitis. If it's a chest infection, it's usually
Yeah.
one of the two. I'm going to give him a pass. I know that it's not great because how many points down is he is now?
I don't
Because that was
know.
11th? 10th?
Yeah,
10th or
something
11th?
like that.
So
he's still
he's-
within 22 because he's in the top
I'll
10
give him a
somewhere.
little. I'll give him a pass too.
I'll give him a pass, but he's.
But
digging
I'm just
himself
kind
a
of
hole here.
puzzled at how I gotta feel like he was feeling worse last week.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know, man. It's a weird.
if it's a
thing.
chest infection, if it is, I don't
But
agree
like I
with
told you guys after that heat race, he looked gassed.
that. And that's the chest. If he's got pneumonia, that's.
So
I mean,
he
dude, this,
came out of the tunnel and he was just arms
What's-
dropped, ass to the back fender, just kind of riding off the.
what scares me that if he has pneumonia, if that's what it is, I'm not saying that's what it is, so everybody check themselves. If he has pneumonia,
It's not gonna be good.
this season's over with.
Oh yeah.
If it is pneumonia,
Yeah,
if we see
because-
this again,
Because
you
if he doesn't perform next week, you bench him, right, for a week
No,
or two to have him get
but
better.
I didn't even think about that. But what I was going to go with the pneumonia thing, pneumonia is not just something you get over with, and I know what that's pneumonia is about. Like you don't get over. It's going to be a thing that's going to affect him through the whole entire season. Because even when he gets better,
Yeah.
dude, your body is so depleted. Because they said that him and Zacho didn't ride till Thursday. Dude, if he has pneumonia and they like with how serious that is, they are going to be like, dude.
It depends too, because there's different strains of it.
Yes.
And some of them it's not as bad.
But
So.
with what Cole just said about being
Yeah.
depleted and how bad he looked, that if he looks like this again in next to A2, it's
We
could
gotta,
be viral.
we gotta have the same Tomac conversation.
It's good. It's not
Yeah.
good, and he's done. But I I can't say that this was a him thing though. Like if this is why he doesn't win the title this year, that's not him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So
all right, so we got to wrap this up here pretty quick. Just a couple other notes. Vogel leading that heat race.
Does he win
That's
that
pretty
heat?
cool.
I think
he would have.
I think so too, but he needed to not take that line because that line got whopped out, and that what happened was they couldn't jump that little double on the inside anymore.
He tried to stay too tight in the corner. He needed to square it off.
You could see he kind of went like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
Well, that rut got whopped out, and they couldn't jump. They weren't getting enough lift.
Well, and you almost were
They
like
nosed into that.
you almost were still
second bump.
leading in when you went up the face too,
Yeah.
and that was just kind of why he pitched
Yeah,
inside.
but I do think he probably could have battled for that.
I was actually kind of excited.
That's the Bogle Justin and I talked about.
Yep.
for sure.
I was so excited. I was like, oh, he's gonna win the heat, and then I'm like, oh shit.
Brayton had those bike issues. That was weird in the heat, and they just
Motor
threw
issues.
the motor away. I heard Malcolm crashed so bad during the
electrical.
week they threw his bike away. He bent so much shit up crashing during the week there that they threw the bike away.
Must be nice to have a whole fleet of
Oh,
Hondas.
let me go throw that.
Uh,
Where's the garbage bin
Yeah,
at?
one of the fucking 20.
I guess he had an ankle kind of injury too, so.
Oh, I don't
So it was a
know
pretty
that.
good ride for Mookie. with
Yeah.
that. But
Norin, broken ankle is what I heard.
Yeah.
So the
I didn't
JGR
know
Worlds
that.
continue. Other than that,
What was the top 10 again?
as far as
The
people
points.
finishing,
we didn't really
I
talk
don't
a
have the
lot
top 10
about.
in
We didn't
points.
talk.
No,
There was a 22.
No, I'm
points.
sorry. I didn't mean points in the main. What was the top 10?
Kenny Barsha, Ando, Tomac, Osborne, Stewart, AC, Brayton, Baggett, Plessinger, Hill.
Okay, so
I want to talk about.
We got 3 minutes, by the way.
I want to
so
talk about
quick.
Team Pride real quick.
Okay.
Killing it.
Great guy, dude.
Yeah. Low
I think he's
key,
gonna win soon.
He said, and in the stadium, I don't know if the interview was on TV, the same one that was in the stadium. He's like, "We gonna keep it low key popping."
Okay, Dr. Dre. Or not
Okay.
Snoop Dogg.
So we go-
Winners for next week.
That's exactly where I was just going. Kenny?
Oh, I shit the bed on last week.
We all did. I'm gonna go with Kenny, and I'm gonna go with Frenchie. But actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna go with Kenny and Cooper.
Kenny Fortner.
Okay. Last one
Because I'm.
before I wrap this up.
And I want to go with my heart. But I also want to go with real.
Okay.
My heart goes Kenny, but we haven't seen him string together anything in a very, very long
Yeah,
time.
we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I think Barsha,
Okay, who wins 250s?
250.
I didn't see that.
I gotta say Ferrandis.
All right. Last
Do or
thing.
die. Ferrandis always seemed like this is a pressure situation, and I think Ferrandis always thrives under pressure.
Where does AC and Eli finish? Because for me, that's like the biggest talking point.
AC,
right
I think, is still in the top 5.
now. Okay, I can see that.
Eli, I think he's still dicking around somewhere between like 4th and 9th.
I'd say that.
I see AC gets 4th, and I think the Eli gets 8th.
Okay.
I
Cool.
think,
That's
yeah.
hot.
Hot take.
Bad take, or bad starts. Bad take, bad starts. It's all bad.
All right. So anyway, this has been another episode of the Moto Aftermath Show presented by TLR Coatings and Durango Guitar Works. So make sure to go check them out. Links in the description. All sorts of links in the description for being able to support us, help us out. And the biggest way you can is to hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share the video. And we will be back next week wrapping up
A2.
round 3,
Round
A2.
round 7.
Said 2. Anyway, so thanks for tuning in. We'll see everybody next week.